Hello, my fellow handicappers. This weekend handicapper. In this video, I'm going to provide my picks and analysis for the 2022 Preakness Stakes at Pimlico. That's on May 21st, Saturday, May 21st. Now, before we get going, if you hadn't seen my other videos about how to bet the Preakness, some betting tips and strategies on how to bet the Preakness that's based on historical data, historical facts, check out that video. Also, I made a video that explains the new shooters. In other words, those horses that didn't race in the Kentucky Derby but chose to skip the Kentucky Derby and instead race in the Preakness. Check out that video. I'll put both video links in the description below, and also cards in this particular video. So let me go horse by horse. Let's examine the field of contenders here in this year's Preakness. Then I will tell you how I plan on betting this year's Preakness Stakes. Number one, simplification. How can you not like simplification? This horse, to me, always brings it. He always factors in the money. I think he's been in the money 7 of his 8 times. And when I say in the money, that even includes the 4th place finish in the Kentucky Derby. So this horse is only, in his very first race, is the only time it's never finished 4th or better. And it's only finished 4th one time. That was the Kentucky Derby. Everything else has been either 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. I love consistent horses like simplification, especially if you like to play exactas, trifectas, superfectas. It's great to build your tickets around a consistent horse that always factors in, that always tries its hardest in the races that he runs in. So simplification, I don't know if he can win the race, but it's certainly a contender that you should factor in your exotic tickets underneath. Really like simplification. I'm really confident when constructing tickets and using a horse like the number one, simplification. Number 2, Creative Minister. Here's one of those new shooters I was referring to earlier. A lot of buzz about this horse. Some feel that this horse, Creative Minister, is projecting, trending the right way. It's maturing in the right time. So maybe this could be the biggest win on the biggest stage for this horse that this horse has ever raced in. At 10-1, that's a great price. If you can get 10-1 on Creative Minister in the Preakness, I think it would probably be bet down a little bit from there. But the inside post, I think it's going to favor him. I think it's going to set off the speed more than I like in the Preakness. I prefer horses that are either on the lead in the Preakness or right behind those front runners in the Preakness. Number 3, Fenwick. No, thank you. 50-1. Had enough of these wild long shots winning these big stakes races. I'm going to bet against another horse at astronomical odds beating me. So no thank you to number 3, Fenwick. Number 4, Secret Oath at 9-2, trained by Dwayne Lucas. Dwayne Lucas is going for a record-tying 7th Preakness Stakes. Currently, that record is held by one Bob Baffert. So Dwayne Lucas was a feel-good story in the Kentucky Oaks when this horse won the Kentucky Oaks. Certainly has a shot, certainly is a contender. I think anytime a filly is racing in a big-time stakes race against the boys, a lot of people bet that horse just because of the storylines. So this, I doubt if you're going to get 9-2 in this particular race for Secret Oath, but certainly has a shot. Number 5, Early Voting at 7-2 morning line, trained by Chad Brown. Now, as I stated in my other video about these new shooters, Chad Brown back in 2017 employed the same strategy with Cloud Computing, who eventually won the Preakness, with these same training methods, this same schedule, so to speak. He's hoping to get it done with Early Voting. The early speed style of this horse, the freshening up, the rest that this horse has, the trainer certainly is capable of winning this race. I'm a big fan of number 5, Early Voting. Post position should be ideal for this horse. Just get out to the early lead. Try to play catch me if you can. Probably, hopefully, if you're backing this horse, will win wire to wire. That's what the game plan, I would assume, is for Early Voting. And that game plan, that running style fits the Preakness Stakes fairly well. Number 6, Happy Jack. So we go from an early speed horse to a closer. Closers usually don't do that well in the Preakness Stakes as far as win contenders go. So you should include horses that are at good odds, such as Happy Jack. Even though they might not close in to win the race, they might close in to finish 3rd or 4th and beef up your exactas, trifectas, superfecta payoffs if more logical horses like Early Voting, Epicenter end up winning the race. Number 7, Armagnac. This horse, 12-1, trained by Tim Yakteen, used to be trained by Bob Baffert, who is the all-time leader of Preakness Stakes wins. There's debate on how much Tim Yakteen is training the horses, or Bob Baffert still calling the shots, and found some loophole as far as training horses since he's suspended. But this horse, even though it's used to be trained by Bob Baffert, I don't know if this is going to be a Preakness Stakes contender. So I'm going to pass as far as win bets go on this horse, the number 7, but no reason you can't include him in your exactas, trifectas. Superfectas. Number 8, Epicenter. What do you all think about Epicenter? What do you all think about Epicenter? Leave a comment in the comment section below. This horse, to me, should have won the Kentucky Derby. To me, I didn't think it had any excuse losing the Kentucky Derby, especially to a horse like Rich Strike. To me, I lost a little confidence in Epicenter, especially at 6-5. 6-5 morning line on Epicenter. It's a good horse. It's more than likely probably going to win this year's Preakness Stakes, but at 6-5, there's no way I would bet Epicenter at 6-5, or probably going to be even money when all said and done. Finish the deal, Epicenter. Come on, this is what good horses do. You take care of your business. You don't get beat by 80-1 shots. So I lost a little confidence in Epicenter. Now, this field, I think is the best horse in this race, but I don't necessarily think this is the horse you should be betting at those low odds, especially when he didn't give you that much confidence coming off the Kentucky Derby. Will he bounce back? Can he bounce back? Yeah, but still, at even money almost, from a bettor's perspective, if you want to be right and handicap the Preakness, say you had the Preakness winner, well, that's one thing. Yeah, Epicenter makes a lot of sense. Is that who you should bet? I don't know. And even if you like Epicenter, you don't want to play a win bet, then that's why I'm saying underneath you might want to throw in some of these bigger prices or longer odds horses, try to beef up the payouts if you're going to include Epicenter. Epicenter, good luck to you. You're probably going to win. Prove me wrong in the Preakness. Bounce back, have a revenge race, show the world that you're the horse that everybody thought you were, but not at even money. I can't bet that horse at close to even money, 6-5, but I think it's going to be even money when all said and done. Number 9, Skippy Longstocking. Good old Skippy. Skippy Longstocking is going to set right off the pace, which is pretty much where you want to be in the Preakness Stakes. Other than the price, 20-1 morning line, I can't make a case against these other horses, but from a betting perspective, you might want to include Skippy Longstocking in those exotic wagers if you play exactas, trifectas, and superfectas. Now let's talk a little bit about the pace, because to me, pace always makes the race. That's what happened in the Kentucky Derby, and all said and done. A lot of pace up front. Those front runners got tired, set up well for a closer. If you were betting the closers, you would have had, let's see, 3 of the top 5 finishers in the Kentucky Derby. Rich Strike was a closer. Zandon was a closer. Mo Donegal was a closer. It's set up great for closers. Preakness usually is the opposite. You want horses that are on the front end or right off the pace. So that's the way I envision it, is early voting. Number 5's out front, leading them. And then maybe, just maybe, that horse can get it done and win wire to wire. But right off the early pace, right behind early voting, should be Simplification, Epicenter, and Skippy Longstocking. And right behind that is probably number 7, number 4, Secret Oath, number 2, Creative Minister, and in the back of the pack, you're going to have Happy Jack. Happy Jack in the back of the pack. Now, how does that factor in? Well, I think your best bet is to bet those horses that are on the front end or right behind it as far as win contenders. You mix up these different pace styles, these different running styles, try to solve that puzzle, and that's how you come up with decent paying exactas, trifectas, and superfectas. So horses like number 2, Creative Minister, number 6, Happy Jack, combine those with some of your longer priced horses right off the front of the pace, might get it done, and you cash some tickets. All right, now let's talk about how to bet this year's Preakness Stakes, Preakness 147. So anytime you handicap a horse race and that you plan on betting on, or you want to decide on whether or not you're going to bet on a particular horse race that you handicap, is you always want to start with the favorite. Can you beat the favorite? If you can't beat the favorite, is the favorite going off at okay enough odds that it's worth you betting on? So you always want to evaluate a favorite. And if it's unbeatable, it's usually unbettable. However, if you think the favorite is beatable, that's a great race to play, because most of the betting public is going to be on board the favorite, and therefore you look the other direction, look for other options that pay more. And that's a great thing to keep in mind, whether you're handicapping a big-time stakes race like the Preakness or some maiden race on a Wednesday or Thursday. That's a smart way to begin each race you handicap. Look at the favorite, the most likely horse that's going to be the favorite, and try to figure out if you can beat it or you can't beat it. Therefore, usually you want to skip the race. If that favorite you're confident in is going off at okay odds that you're satisfied with, then that's your bet. Now this race, the Preakness, the favorite's going to be Epicenter. 6-5 morning line. Thing about the morning line, that's not who the track handicapper who sets these morning lines thinks. That's not who that person thinks is going to win. That the morning line is simply how that handicapper who makes these morning line odds, that's the number, the odds that they think the betting public's going to make this horse. And most of them are usually pretty right. And they come pretty close to their morning line odds when it's post time. So Epicenter, 6-5 morning line. As I mentioned before, didn't impress me. Didn't give me any confidence coming out of Kentucky Derby. You should have won the Kentucky Derby. And at 6-5, that's a risky bet to place on Epicenter. And I got to make this point very, very clear. I'm not saying Epicenter won't win. What I'm saying is Epicenter at even money, 6-5, worthy of your money? Just because it's a big time race doesn't mean you have to bet it, honestly. if you think Epicenter is going to win at low odds, might as well just wait till another race where a horse might have a better shot at better odds and you'd be rewarded. But it is the Preakness. Everybody loves betting these Triple Crown races. This one, I think, is if you're trying to get some value for your money, I'm going with number 5, Early Voting. Now, this horse probably won't be 7-2 when it's post time. It's probably going to get bet down 5-2, 2-1 probably. But I think the pace scenario sets up good for Early Voting. I think the freshening, the rest sets up good for Early Voting. I'd much rather, at a better odds, take a chance on a horse that can improve and show up more than Epicenter. To me, Epicenter didn't show up. Even though it finished second in Kentucky Derby, you going down the stretch of Kentucky Derby, you wasn't hindered by that pace that much. You should have won. So I'm not a fan of Epicenter at 6-5. I'm a fan of Epicenter. Don't misinterpret that. I'm a fan of Epicenter, but I'm not a fan of Epicenter at 6-5 or even money. If you are a fan of Epicenter, you might want to try to use Epicenter in some exactas to beef up the payouts, because the win bet ain't going to do it unless you like betting horses at those odds. So number 5, Early Voting, I'm going to take a chance with, hopefully, because I had cloud computing using these same strategies, the same scenario back in 2017. You can check out my video on that on this channel where I picked cloud computing. Hopefully that can repeat again in 2022 with Early Voting. Now, not only am I just going to put a win bet on Early Voting, I want to put some exactas with Early Voting on top. So Early Voting to win in the win position, so first position. Then underneath in the second position, so I need these following horses that come in second. And that's number 1, Simplification. Number 2, Creative Minister. Number 4, Secret Oath. Number 7, number 9, Skippy Longstocking. So not only am I, from a profit perspective, from a betting perspective, not only am I trying to beat Epicenter, I'm hoping Epicenter don't factor in the top 2 placings. Because if I can get Epicenter out of the top 2 placings and number 5, Early Voting, wins and one of my 5 horses that I have coming in second, then I turn what is a pretty formful, logical race on paper into a pretty profitable Preakness Stakes. That's the gamble that you take. At least that's how I see it when you're trying to beat the favorite. If I can knock out the favorite from the win position, the second position, then I stand to have a nice payout in the exactas on my tickets. Now, if you want to play a trifecta, I'll probably play this trifecta, and that's the 5, Early Voting. And underneath that, I want to play the 1, 2, 4, 7, 9, so the same horses that I had in my exacta. But in this case, just in case Epicenter does factor in the show position, the third position, I'm going to have number 8 Epicenter there in third, along with the number 1 Simplification. So the way I see this Preakness from a betting perspective is this. I'm trying to beat Epicenter, the heavy favorite, the heavy favorite probably, Epicenter. So that's my first objective. If that happens, I'm sort of home. I'm on the right road, on the right track, I guess would be more appropriate. But I need Early Voting to win. That's the next key to these tickets. And one more key to these tickets, I'm confident in Simplification, the 1 Simplification, because he always brings it. He seems like he always factors in the placings. I don't think he can win, but I certainly can build my ticket And I have a faith in simplification where I can put the 1 in the second position and the 1 in third position. I just have to have that happen, which I'm pretty confident that simplification is going to finish in the top 3. But I also have to be right in the win position with early voting and some of these other horses coming through in my exacta, or in the case of Epicenter, finishing third. So that's how I'm going to bet the 2022 Preakness 147. Who do you like? Do you like Epicenter? Go ahead and leave it in a comment below. Can Epicenter be beat in the Preakness? Do you like a long shot? Please leave a comment. I love to hear who everybody else is betting. If you like this video, hit the like button and hit that notification bell and that subscribe button so you can get all the latest tips, tools, and resources to help you make money on thoroughbred horse racing. So it should be an interesting race. We're going to see if Epicenter can bounce back from that Kentucky Derby defeat. We're going to see if the trend of 3 in a row Preakness winners will come from these new shooters that didn't even race in the Kentucky Derby. Again, check out my video where I kind of discuss that. Check out my video about betting the Preakness as a whole based on historical data and historical trends. And until next time, this is the Weekend Handicapper. Best of luck to you. Happy handicapping. Smart wagering.